Hello, everyone. Imagine you are ordering food delivery. A green pop-up flashes on your screen. Do you need disposable utensils? Intending to do your part for the planet, you select no. But when the food arrives, you realize you have nothing to eat with. You start tearing your desk drawers apart, desperately searching for an old chopsticks you misplaced weeks ago. So in that exact second, you feel that tiny, subtle pang of moral guilt. We have all been deeply conditioned to believe that saving the planet requires endless and painful sacrifice. But what if that's exactly why it's failing? What if a version of sustainability built entirely on moral blackmail can never truly last? We don't need more moral lectures. We need a fundamental shift in reality. Recently, I conducted a data-driven research project analyzing the financial decisions of hundreds of heavy-polluting corporations under climate regulations. Going into this data, my intuition told me one thing. Companies would hate environmental laws. I assume that carbon trading policies, which force polluters to buy carbon credits to cover their emissions, would bleed these companies dry. I thought they would go bankrupt, or at least lose all their value. But the moment I ran the data, the numbers delivered a mind-blowing revelation. Following the environmental policy intervention, regulated companies did not collapse. Instead, their financial leverage, their ability to borrow money and grow, actually went up by an average of 14%. Think about that. 14%. That is a massive shift on a corporate balance sheet. Why? How does an environmental penalty make a company 14% more attractive to banks? The data revealed a hidden mechanism: green innovation. When the policy hit, these heavy polluters realized that paying fines to burn coal was a losing game. So their behavior flipped. They poured their capital into research and development. They didn't just cut emissions. They generate a surge of brand new high-tech green patents. Now, look at what happens next. Picture the CEO of a massive manufacturing plant. He doesn't go to the bank begging for mercy. Instead, he walks into the bank, slams a 6 stack of freshly approved green technology patents on the table, and uses them as collateral. The bank looks at these valuable tech assets and says, "Wow, you aren't a dirty dye factory anymore. You are a valuable tech company." And they open the vaults. They lend them more money. This is the beauty of a well-designed system. It doesn't try to fight corporate greed. It leverages it. It transforms sustainability from a growing social obligation into a highly profitable business strategy. Once you understand this logic, you start seeing it everywhere in our economy. It proves that when technology meets human nature, sacrifice becomes completely obsolete. Take lithium battery recycling. I recently visited an automated recycling factory. First, I expected to see a dirty waste dump. But however, I saw a roaring assembly line turning old dead electric vehicle batteries into gleaming high-purity lithium and cobalt crystals, ready to be resold at premium prices. No one in that factory was talking about saving the world. They were too busy making money. Here, waste is no longer a burden. It is simply an asset misplaced. Or look at frontier electric vehicles. I watched engineers perform a safety test where they drove a thick steel pin straight through a fully charged battery pack. Normally, that triggers a violent explosion within seconds. But that day, absolutely nothing happened. No smoke, no fire, total peace. Combine that with smart AI systems that allow these cars to fast charge in minus 30-degree blizzards, and the game changes completely. Let me ask you, when people choose to drive a car like that, is it because they want to save the ice caps? No, it's because the car is safer, it's smarter, it's cheaper to run. It's just way cooler. When frontier technology elevates the sustainable experience to its absolute peak, you don't even need to consciously realize you're protecting the planet. You're already doing it. This insight scales all the way down from multi-billion-dollar corporate markets to the very cities we live in. I remember shooting a brief documentary capturing the environmental landscape of Shenzhen Bay Park. For the final shot of the video, the camera pans out into a sweeping wide angle. In the background stands the hyper-modern skyline of skyscrapers, representing wealth and capital. In the foreground rests the lush green of the mangroves, where wild egrets glide gracefully over the water, while citizens bike along the pathways in complete tranquility. In that single frame, the wealth of modern civilization and the beauty of nature do not clash. They exist in perfect harmony. The reflection it casts back, it's no longer our tired, compromised faces, faces of people forcing themselves to sacrifice. Instead, it shows us living with elegance, with freedom, with dignity. And we got here not through sacrifice, but through smarter systems and better technology. So let's take this corporate logic and apply it to our own lives. Think about your personal goals, your career, your health, your bad habits. When we want to change, our instinct is always to force ourselves to make a sacrifice. We tell ourselves, I must stop eating what I love. I must force myself to study. I must suffer to get better. We rely entirely on willpower, and that is exactly why we fail. Willpower is an outdated technology. It runs out. So the next time you want to make a real change in your life, stop asking yourself what you need to sacrifice. Instead, look at your own life and ask, how can I build my own green assets? If you want to read more books, don't just spam social media. Buy a beautifully designed e-reader that makes the experience of reading addictive. If you want to stay healthy, don't just starve yourself. Find a sport or a community that makes you feel alive and powerful. Just like those heavy-polluting companies that use green patents to unlock millions from the bank, you need to create systems in your life where doing the right thing becomes the most logical, rewarding, and profitable choice for you. So stop viewing sustainability and personal growth as a tragic sacrifice. Once the mass is clear and the system is smart, sacrifice becomes obsolete and evolution becomes inevitable. That's all for today. Thank you very much.